On June 1st of this year, the next exciting chapter in the very long-running Ninjago saga was unleashed upon the world, being Ninjago Dragons Rising, or at least half of it. Following in the footsteps of Crystallized, the first season of Ninjago Dragons Rising has been split into two separate parts, consisting of 10 episodes each, and let's hope that's the only thing it copies from Crystallized. Back when the first part of Dragons Rising released, I went ahead and made a review for the first 10 episodes, which if you're a true Ninjago fan, you totally need to watch. And since the highly anticipated Dragons Rising Part 2 is just around the corner, instead of giving it the review treatment right away, I've decided to have a go at trying to predict what will happen in the second part of the new Ninjago season. So when it's actually time for the proper Part 2 review, we can compare the predictions from this video to what actually happens within the last 10 episodes of Dragons Rising Season 1. Hopefully I can at least get 2 predictions right. To kick off the predictions, I think it's best to start off with our favourite multicolored ninja and other protagonist characters, and to me, it makes the most sense to begin with the newest additions to the cast, Sora, Eren, and Wildfire. Beginning with Sora, my first prediction is that by the end of the second part and this first season, Sora will unlock her true potential, making it so that Sora no longer requires Ryu to tap into her powers. I think this prediction is pretty likely, considering that the original 4 ninja were able to unlock their true potentials in the first season. I see no reason as to why Sora can't do the same, with my next prediction possibly being as to how she unlocks it. And that prediction is that Sora will at some point within part 2 cross paths with her parents. Remember them? The parents that basically disowned their own daughter because she wanted to make everyone's lives better? Truly the parents of the year right there. Sora having a not so happy reunion with her parents would allow her to show them the great person and ninja she's been able to become, proving to her parents and the rest of Imperium that there is life beyond Imperium, and that you can achieve practically anything, not needing to conform with the fascist life of Imperium. Getting to show her parents who she was able to become throughout the first season of Dragons Rising will be the key to overcoming the emotional obstacle holding her back, even if her parents don't approve of her new ninja life. I'm actually not quite sure what Sora's true potential would even look like. Jay became pure lightning, Kai was engulfed in flames, and Nia was surrounded by water, so what in the world is going to happen to Sora? Is she just going to transform into an Xbox? Moving on from Sora, we now have the newest orange ninja, Eren. Poor old Skylar just wasn't able to make the cut. Apparently some random kid is better than a ninja that can control every single element known to man. Our first Eren prediction will be a pretty safe one. By the end of the second part, Eren will fully master Spinjitzu, truly becoming a Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu. Every member of the ninja team is an elemental master, but what about Eren? In the first part of Dragons Rising, it doesn't really seem like he has an elemental power. He was able to transfer Spinjitzu into an object, but surely that isn't an elemental power. So will he be revealed to be the new elemental master of Spinjitzu in part 2? My prediction is that Eren will simply not have any elemental power, being the only main member of the ninja team without an elemental power, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. It'll definitely make him stand out against the other ninja, and it certainly makes sure we won't have to deal with Eren whining about losing his powers like Kai. I can definitely see the writers giving Eren an elemental power, but I for one would rather him not have one. This way, he can really represent us, the Ninjago fans, even more, as we humans have yet to evolve to the point of having elemental powers. Knowing my luck, I'd get the elemental power of stupidity. One of my predictions for Sora is that she would cross paths with her parents, and I think the exact opposite will be true for poor old Eren, his parents remaining missing for the first season of Dragons Rising. Eren trying to reunite with his parents would be a great motivator for him throughout the rest of the show, with it being the driving force for him to keep on being a ninja and helping out, in hopes of one day being the one to find his parents and have a happy family reunion. Our last new ninja team member to make a prediction about is Wildfire, and my first prediction about this certainly interesting character is that we won't quite figure out her origin. If you remember from the 8th episode of the first part, I'll Be the Danger, with an episode named like that, there must be at least one Breaking Bad fan in a Ninjago writer's room. Wildfire is seemingly shot down from above in a strange robot as a baby, basically just like Superman, implying that she might be from space? God, I sure hope not. My guess is that maybe the transport that Wildfire arrived in was perhaps a machine that was able to cross between the realms, But we'll just have to wait for Season 2 to find out, as, again, I don't think we will fully learn all about Wildfire's true origin in the first season, as it would add a nice bit of mystery to her character, and the character arc of trying to figure out where she truly comes from. We're not quite finished with this bootleg Kai yet, as my next prediction is that Part 2 will properly establish what Wildfire's elemental power is, showing us exactly what it can and can't do, and what really sets it apart from Kai's power of fire. Moving away from the newer characters, let's shift focus onto the 6th ninja we're all so familiar with. I don't really have much to predict for 5 out of the 6 ninja, but I do hope that we will get to see all 6 of them finally reunited and fighting against the Imperium. You just can't have a Ninjago season without all of the ninjas sharing the same screen and fighting together. It would just be such a huge missed opportunity and such a tease. But there is one ninja in particular that I want to focus on. This next section will contain some possible spoilers, so if you want to go to part 2 with a fresh mind, then go ahead and skip to the timestamp on screen now. And so with that little spoiler warning done with, let's first make fun of the people who skipped ahead and want to enjoy something without getting spoiled, before talking about the one ninja who's yet to appear in any Dragon's Rising trailers, that of course being my favourite ninja, Jay. According to somewhat reliable leaked information, and I believe an issue of the Ninjago magazine, after the merge, Jay somehow lost his memory, and ended up joining this group called the Administration. These people here in this very backrooms looking area. Who would have guessed that one of Ninjago's realms was just the backrooms, with poor old Jay clipping into the strange office themed area. If this actually ends up being true, I am very conflicted on if I like it. As I said, Jay is my favourite ninja, so having him lose his memory and become a member of this top secret agency, which might not be on the ninja side as it seems from the trailers, is a very big jump for the character, which I don't really approve of right now. But then there's the positive side to it. It would certainly be a very interesting plotline for Jay, with the ninja supposedly trying to remind him of who he once was before the merge. And if Jay losing his memory and becoming part of this new administration or whatever it's called makes him more serious and less of a constantly whining punching bag, then I'm all for it. And maybe they could even just throw in his eye patch, maybe, pretty please? Or at least some cool shades like this guy. This little theory slash rumor does have a little bit of evidence to support itself. As you can see here from one of the trailers for part 2, the portal tech the supposed administration uses is very blue and somewhat lightning themed, which is certainly better than them using the goddamn Rick and Morty portal, making people believe that perhaps Jay is the inventor behind all of this new group's tech, with all the tech we've seen so far being very blue and potentially lightning powered, like the portal, and I'd be very happy if that's the case. Finally getting to show Jay's inventor side for the first time in years. It all just depends on how the writers are able to handle Jay's return to the show. Right now I'm pretty worried but still cautiously optimistic. After how certain aspects are handled in the first part, I would say Jay is in good hands. Or at least he better be, because I'll be damned if I let them ruin my favourite character. I just hope that Jay and Fugitive are the best of pals in this new administration group. With the more spoilery discussion out of the way, welcome back to everyone who skipped ahead, as we have our last prediction for the ninja team, which will involve us taking a gander at the Dragon's Rising sets themselves. Taking a very careful look at one set in particular, that being the 50th Destiny's Bounty, with a name that did not need to be that long, with a specific minifigure inclusion drawing my attention, that of course being the ninja's extremely old and wise teacher, Master Wu, who has yet to make his grand return after the events of the merge, which I predict will unfortunately happen during part 2. Absolutely nothing can kill this old bastard. The merge is nothing but a temporary setback for him. I really hope this prediction doesn't end up being true, as I think the merge is the perfect way to finally get rid of Wu, a somewhat similar situation to what happened to him after Hands of Time. This time, instead of being lost in, well, time, Wu is simply lost somewhere in the new merged realm. Not exactly dead, but unlikely to reappear again. I do think that Wu returning is inevitable, no matter how much is changed. That damn status quo has to be upheld no matter what. I hope that we at least get one season without the old fart before he shows up again. And hey, the LEGO sets aren't always 100% accurate. LEGO probably just threw Wu into the set because they made way too many from the previous wave. Remember Avatar, Nia and Cole? Exactly, you don't, because they were just tossed into the gamers market so every ninja can have an avatar for. So now I believe it's time to move on from the ninja and onto the villains of Dragon's Rising, starting with every secret furry's favourite Ninjago character, Roz. My first prediction for this grisly villain is that he is absolutely from the realm of Chima. There is no way he can be from any other realm. I highly doubt that there is another realm full of anthropomorphic animals like Chima. Or at least I hope so, because I don't think I could handle the fact that there are two separate realms of creatures like this. Looking at this screenshot from one of the Part 2 trailers, we get a little glimpse to what is probably Imperium right after the merge, with Empress Beatrix probably just being put into power, and a certainly less intimidating Roz in some kind of robe outfit. Roz's outfit in this scene doesn't exactly look like a general or anyone in higher power, as he is an Imperium, which makes me predict that Roz was actually banished from his tribe in Chima prior to the merge, similar to what happened to Vex at the end of Season 11, with him being banished to the outskirts of the Netherrealm. The reason for his banishing could be something to do with his glorious plan he was constantly yapping about during Part 1, with his tribe deeming him too savage and sending him away, with Roz eventually finding himself at the Empress's doorstep after the merge. Or he just didn't want to be part of Chima, which is a pretty understandable decision. Another prediction I have about Roz is all about how his story ended in the first part, in which he was imprisoned by the Empress for failing her, making me believe that Roz might actually turn on the Empress, forming a temporary alliance with the ninja to fight against a common enemy, wanting revenge for being locked up. With that final Roz prediction out of the way, that's all of my predictions for both the protagonist and antagonist of this second part, but there's still more to go through relating to the overall story of the second part and other miscellaneous topics. Is your favourite Ninjago character Pixel, Ronin, or really any of the other major side characters? Well, that sure sucks for you, because I predict that none of them will appear in the second part of Dragon's Rising. To really ensure that this technically new show can set its own identity, I don't see any of the side characters like Pixel, Ronin, or Skylar appearing in this first season, with the show instead focusing on creating and introducing new characters first for at least 2 seasons, before bringing back the fan favourite side characters. I just pray that one of those characters is Fujidove. My heart yearns for him more and more every day. Earlier on with my Roz predictions, I made the extremely bold and brave prediction of Roz being from the animal realm of Chima, which I don't expect to show up at all during Part 2. I've seen a lot of people expecting to see Chima and the main cast of characters from Chima make a physical appearance in Part 2, and I don't think that's very likely, with my prediction being that Chima will only be named briefly for at least this first season. Showing the ninja in Chima with Laval and all the other Chima characters that nobody cares about just seems like way too much to be shown in just the first season of this new show. I don't expect anything like that to happen until at least the third or maybe even the second season. The most that'll happen until then will most likely just be this damn Chima beaver popping up again for a quick cameo. My next prediction is another safe and obvious one. Just like in every other Ninjago season, I expect the ninja to defeat the Empress and stop the merge quakes, freeing the people of Imperium from the dictatorship of Empress Beatrix, helping integrate the citizens of Imperium into a better society as they, just bulldoze down the city of Imperium, replacing it with a McDonald's. Within the first teaser for Part 2, we got to see tons of new exciting footage, but the most interesting part about it to me was this red Jin character here, which of course immediately had me thinking, oh my god, Skybound 2. This new Jin is for sure what I'm looking forward to the most with Part 2. As the world's #1 Skybound fan, I will gladly take anything Skybound related. So far, Nadakon and his dear old pops Kanji-kan are the only Jins we've seen in the show, so this new Jin is pretty huge, which makes sense as all the other Jins are most likely dead. What's the deal with this Jin here then? Shouldn't they also be dead like their fellow Jin? Well, my prediction is that this Jin was somehow able to survive within the remains of Ninjago, being set free from his ruined realm after the merge. Or this Jin was simply just like Nadakon, being trapped in some sort of vessel, till being freed by what looks like Sora and Nia, judging by the trailers we've gotten so far. Speaking of Nadakon, is it possible that this Jin is actually related to the best Ninjago villain himself? Perhaps their brother or very, very, very distant cousin? This is of course because they're both Jin and nothing actually factual. Okay, well now that just makes it sound racist. Looking closely at this red Jin, he has a very different hairstyle, different facial features and whole different wardrobe from Nadakon. Surely if he's related to royalty like Nadakon, he would dress like it, right? Also, he's red and Nadakon isn't, so that rules him out of the family tree. This does make me wonder, however, how many different colours do Jin come in? Are there Jins for like every single colour? A purple Jin? A green Jin? A blue Okay, well that one would probably just end in a lawsuit from Disney. As well as being a completely different colour from the Jin we've seen so far, this new Jin seems to have a different kind of magic ability, seemingly using this necklace to unleash a kind of attack, most likely being a fancy magical Jin artifact from Ninjago, which I can't wait to find out more about. For the final predictions of this video, we'll be focusing on this guy right here, or sort of Gekko and Munt's mix-up. I guess as soon as they made peace with each other, the Gekko and Munt sure got busy. Judging by the little footage we have of this guy, I feel like it's pretty safe to predict that this guy might have the previously unused elemental power of Magnetism. As you can see, he's capable of fusing metal together like magnets, which looks pretty similar to how Sora's tech powers work if you ask me. So it'll be interesting to see how they make the two of them different, and how the two powers can be combined for some awesome action. Before we end our predictions for Dragons Rising Part 2, I'd like to first dedicate a few moments of silence to the original master of magnetism, Magno, who shall live on within our hearts as a true master of magnetism. And so with that very touching tribute to a character that practically nobody knows or cared about, my predictions for Dragons Rising Part 2 has finally come to a close. I'm very excited to see what will happen in the second part of Dragons Rising, and so I really hope that it is better than whatever the hell Part 2 of Crystallized was. If you have any predictions for Dragons Rising Part 2, then why not go ahead and leave it in the comments below. Hopefully at least one of us will get something right. All I know for certain about Dragons Rising Part 2 is that the dragons sure will rise, and if not, I will be suing Lego for false advertising, using the money from the lawsuit responsibly to purchase the Ninjago retractable pen 3-pack.